Good afternoon. This is Pastor Stephen at Cross and Crown Lutheran Church, and we are continuing to read through the Bible, and we are starting today with Exodus chapter 26. Moreover, you shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twisted linen and blue, purple, and crimson yarns. You shall make them with cherubim skillfully worked into them. The length of each curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains shall be of the same size. 5 curtains shall be joined to one another. You shall make loops of blue on the edge of the outermost curtain in the first set, and likewise you shall make loops on the edge of the outermost curtain in the second set. You shall make 50 loops on the one curtain. You shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one another, and you shall make 50 clasps of gold and join the curtains to one another with the clasps, so that the tabernacle may be one whole. You shall also make curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. You shall make 11 curtains. The length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. The 11 curtains shall be of the same size. You shall join 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves, and the 6th curtain you shall double over at the front of the tent. You shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in one set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost on the second set. You shall make 50 clasps of bronze and put the clasps into the loops, and join the tent together, so that it may be one whole. The part that remains of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the tabernacle. The cubit on the one side and the cubit on the other side of what remains in the length of the curtains of the tent shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on this side and that side to cover it. You shall make for the tent a covering of tanned rams' skins and an outer covering of fine leather. You shall make upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. 10 cubits shall be the length of the tabernacle. The 10 cubits shall be the length of a frame, and a cubit and a half the width of each frame, and there shall be 2 pegs in each frame to fit the frames together. You shall make these for all the frames of the tabernacle. You shall make the frames for the tabernacle, 20 frames for the south side. You shall make 40 bases of silver under the 20 frames, 2 bases under the first frame for its 2 pegs, and 2 bases under the next frame for its 2 pegs, and for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, 20 frames. And there 40 bases of silver, 2 bases under the first frame, and 2 bases under the next frame. And for the rear of the tabernacle westward, you shall make 6 frames. You shall make 2 frames for corners of the tabernacle in the rear. They shall be separate beneath, but joined at the top. At the first ring it shall be the same with both of them. They shall form the 2 corners, and so there shall be 8 frames with their bases of silver, 16 bases, 2 bases under the first frame, and 2 bases under the next frame. You shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 of the frames of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames of the side of the tabernacle at the rear westward. The middle bar halfway up the frame shall pass through from end to end. You shall overlay the frames with gold, and shall make their rings of gold to hold the bars, and you shall overlay the bars with gold. Then you shall erect the tabernacle according to the plan for it you were shown on the mountain. You shall make a curtain of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linen. It shall be made like with cherubim skillfully worked into it. You shall hang it on 4 pillars of acacia overlaid with gold, which have hooks of gold and rest on 4 bases of silver. You shall hang the curtain under the clasps, and bring the ark of the covenant in there within the curtain, and the curtain shall separate for you the holy place from the most holy. You shall put the mercy seat on the ark of the covenant and the most holy place. You shall set the table outside the curtain, and the lampstand on the south side of the tabernacle, opposite the table. And you shall put the table on the north side, and you shall make a screen for the entrance of the tent of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linen embroidered with needlework. You shall make for the screen 5 pillars of acacia, and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and you shall cast 5 bases of bronze for them. This is going to be a very ornate place. Just think about the mercy itself. There's just gold everywhere, silver everywhere, bronze everywhere. This is an investment by the people. They are invested in this and giving of their own. 27. You shall make the altar of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The altar shall be square, and it shall be 3 cubits high. You shall make horns for it on its 4 corners. Its horns shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make pots for it to receive its ashes, and shovels, and basins, and forks, and firepans. You shall make all its utensils of bronze. You shall also make for it a grating, a network of bronze, and on the net you shall make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners. You shall set it under the ledge of the altar, so that the net shall extend halfway down the altar. You shall make poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with bronze. The poles shall be put through the rings, so that the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. You shall make it hollow with boards. They shall be made just as you were shown on the mountain. You shall make the court of the tabernacle. On the south side of the court shall have hangings of fine, twisted linen, 100 cubits long. For that side its 20 pillars and 20 bases shall be of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their bands shall be of silver. Likewise for its length on the north side there shall be hangings 100 cubits long. Their pillars 20, and their bases 20 of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their bands shall be of silver. For the width of the court on the west side there shall be 50 cubits of hangings, with 10 pillars and 10 bases. The width of the court on the front to the east shall be 50 cubits. There shall be 15 cubits of hangings on the one side with 3 pillars and 3 bases. There shall be 15 cubits of hangings on the other side, with 3 pillars and 3 bases. For the gate of the court shall be a screen 20 cubits long, of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linens, embroidered with needlework. It shall have 4 pillars, and with them 4 bases, and all the pillars around the court shall be banded with silver. The hooks shall be of silver, and their bases of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, the width 50, and the height 5 cubits, with hangings of fine twisted linen and bases of bronze. All the utensils of the tabernacle for every use, and all its pegs, and all the pegs of the court shall be of bronze. You shall further command the Israelites to bring you pure oil of beaten olives for the light, so that a lamp may be set up to burn regularly in the tent of meeting outside the curtain that is before the covenant. Aaron and his sons shall tend it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a perpetual ordinance to be observed throughout their generations by the Israelites. Everything is very, very specific. When God gives us directions, a lot of times when God tells us exactly what to do, you do it. There's probably a reason for these dimensions, and they are investing a lot into this with all the gold and silver and bronze. This is something that it's being ingrained in them, that this is something they should care about, something that is valuable, and something that needs to be cherished. And we will see throughout their generations that it is something that is cherished. The tabernacle is cherished. And then think about the temple. Wow, how beautiful the temple is created, and it's just the center of everything. And so it's amazing. And it's amazing also, too, because they're going to have to take this down and move it time and time again. So it'll be quite some work for them. Now we get to the vestments for the priesthood in chapter 28. Then bring near to you your brother Aaron and his sons with him, from among the Israelites to serve me as priests. Aaron and Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. You shall make sacred vestments for the glorious adornment of your brother Aaron, and you shall speak to all who have ability, whom I have endowed with skill, that they make Aaron's vestments to consecrate him for my priesthood. These are the vestments that they shall make: a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, a checkered tunic, a turban, and a sash. And when they make the sacred vestments for your brother Aaron and his sons to serve me as priests, they shall use gold, blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and fine linen. Again, expensive. Gold, blue, and purple, and crimson yarn, that's expensive. Blue is expensive. Gold, as you can know, is expensive. Purple is expensive. Fine linen. This is the best of what they have to offer. And the interesting thing in the first section is God gave the people the ability to create what is about to be done. Beautiful. They shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linen, skillfully worked. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces attached to its 2 edges, so that it may be joined together. The decorated band on it shall be of the same workmanship and materials of gold, of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and of twisted linen, fine twisted linen. You shall take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel. 6 of the names on the one stone, and the names of the remaining 6 on the other stone, in the order of their birth. As a gem cutter engraves signets, so you shall engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. You shall mount them in settings of gold filigree. You shall set the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel, and Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his 2 shoulders. For remembrance, you shall make settings of gold filigree and 2 chains of pure gold, twisted like cords, and you shall attach the chains to the settings. You shall make a breastpiece of judgment in skilled work. You shall make it in the style of the ephod of gold, of blue and purple and crimson yarns, and of fine twisted linen you shall make it. It shall be square and doubled, a span in the length and a span in width. You shall set it in 4 rows of stones. A row of carnelian, chrysolite, and emerald shall be the first row. In the second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and a moonstone. In the third row, a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. In the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree. They shall be 12 stones with names corresponding to the names of the son of Israel. They shall be like signets, each engraved with its name. For the 12 tribes you shall make for the breastpiece chains of pure gold, twisted like cords, and you shall make for the breastpiece 2 rings of gold. Put the 2 rings on the 2 edges of the breastpiece, and you shall make the 2 cords of gold in the 2 rings at the edge of the breastpiece. The 2 ends of the 2 cords you shall attach to the 2 settings, and so attach it in front to the shoulder pieces of the ephod. You shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them at the 2 ends of the breastpiece on its inside edge next to the ephod. You shall make 2 rings of gold and attach them in front to the lower part of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod at its joining above the decorated band of the ephod. The breastpiece shall be bound by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, so that it may lie on the decorated band of the ephod, and so that the breastpiece shall not come loose from the ephod. So Aaron shall bear the names of the sons of Israel in the breastpiece of judgment on his heart when he goes into the holy place, for a continual remembrance before the Lord. In the breastpiece of judgment you shall put the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be on Aaron's heart when he goes in before the Lord. Thus Aaron shall bear the judgment of the Israelites on his heart continually before the Lord. You shall make the robe of the ephod all of blue. It shall have an opening for the head in the middle of it, with a woven binding around the opening, like the opening in a coat of mail, so that it may not be torn. On its lower hem you shall make pomegranates of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, all around the lower hem, with bells of gold between them all around. A golden bell and a pomegranate alternating all around the lower hem of the robe. Aaron shall wear it when he ministers, and its sound shall be heard when he goes into the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, so that he may not die. You shall make a rosette of pure gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. You shall fasten it on the turban with a blue cord, and shall be on the front of the turban. It shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall take on himself any guilt incurred in the holy offering that the Israelites consecrate as their sacred donations, and shall always be on his forehead, in order that they may find favor before the Lord. You shall make the checkered tunic of fine linen, and you shall make a turban of fine linen, and you shall make a sash embroidered with needlework. For Aaron's sons you shall make tunics and sashes and headdresses. You shall make them for their glorious adornment. You shall put them on your brother Aaron and on his sons with him, and shall anoint them and ordain them and consecrate them, so that they may serve me as priests. You shall make for them linen undergarments to cover their naked flesh. They shall reach from the hips to the thighs. Aaron and his sons shall wear them when they go into the tent of meeting, or when they come near the altar to minister in the holy place, or they will bring guilt on themselves and die. This shall be a perpetual ordinance for him and for his descendants after him. Whew. These are some beautifully crafted pieces that will come together, and it's amazing because this is all because Aaron is being, what's the words used? Holy to the Lord. And it's not just him, it's the whole priesthood. 29. Now this is what you shall do to them to consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests. Take 1 young bull and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread, unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers spread with oil. You shall make them of choice wheat flour. You shall put them in 1 basket, and bring them in the basket, and bring the bull and the 2 rams. You shall bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and wash them with water. Then you shall take the vestments and put on Aaron the tunic and the robe of the ephod, and the ephod and the breastpiece, and gird him with the decorated band of the ephod. And you shall set the turban on his head, and put the holy diadem on the turban. You shall take the anointing oil and pour it on his head, and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons and put tunics on them, and you shall gird them with sashes and tie headdresses on them, and the priesthood shall be theirs by a perpetual ordinance. You shall then ordain Aaron and his sons, and you shall bring the bull in front of the tent of meeting, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull, and you shall slaughter the bull before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and shall take some of the blood of the bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and all the rest of the blood you shall pour out at the base of the altar. You shall take all the fat that covers the entrails and the appendage of the liver and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, and turn them into smoke on the altar. But the flesh of the bull and its skin and its dung shall burn with the fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Then you shall take 1 of the rams, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram, and you shall slaughter the ram, and shall take its blood and dash it against all sides of the altar. Then you shall cut the ram into its parts, and wash its entrails and its legs, and put them with its parts and its head, and turn the whole ram into smoke on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a pleasing odor, an offering by fire to the Lord. You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram, and you shall slaughter the ram, and take some of its blood and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the lobes of the right ears of his sons, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet, and dash the rest of the blood against all the sides of the altar. Then you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his vestments, and on his sons and his sons' vestments with him. Then he and his vestments shall be holy, as well as his sons and his sons' vestments. You shall also take the fat of the ram, the fat tail, the fat that covers the entrails, the appendages of the liver, the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination. And 1 loaf of bread, 1 cake of bread made with oil, 1 wafer out of the basket of unleavened bread that is before the Lord. And you shall place all these on the palms of Aaron and on the palms of his sons, and raise them as an elevation offering before the Lord. Then you shall take them from their hands and turn them into smoke on the altar on top of the burnt offering of pleasing odor before the Lord. It is an offering by fire to the Lord. You shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination, and raise it as an elevation offering before the Lord, and it shall be your portion. You shall consecrate the breast that was raised as an elevation offering, and the thigh that was raised as an elevation offering from the ram of ordination, from that which belonged to Aaron and his sons. These things shall be a perpetual ordinance for Aaron and his sons from the Israelites, for this is an offering, and it shall be an offering by the Israelites from their sacrifice of offerings of well-being, their offering to the Lord. The sacred vestments of Aaron shall be passed on to his sons after him. They shall be anointed in them and ordained in them. The son who is the priest in his place shall wear them 7 days when he comes into the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place. You shall take the ram of ordination and boil its flesh in the holy place, and Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket, the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket, at the entrance of the tent of meeting. They themselves shall eat the food by which atonement is made, to ordain and consecrate them, but no one else shall eat of them, because they are holy. If any of the flesh for the ordination or of the bread remains until the morning, then you shall burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. Thus you shall do to Aaron and to his sons, just as I have commanded you. Through 7 days you shall ordain them. Also every day you shall offer a bull as a sin offering for atonement. Also you shall offer a sin offering for the altar, when you make atonement for it, and shall anoint it to consecrate it. 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar and consecrate it, and the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar shall become holy. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar: 2 lambs a year old, regularly each day. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, the other lamb you shall offer in the evening. And with the first lamb 1/10 of a measure of choice flour, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of beaten oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine for a drink offering. And the other lamb you shall offer in the evening, and shall offer with it a grain offering, and its drink offering as in the morning, for a pleasing odor, and offering by the fire to the Lord. It shall be a regular burnt offering through your generations at the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord, where I will meet with you, to speak to you there. I will meet with the Israelites there, and it shall be sanctified by my glory. I will consecrate the tent of meeting and the altar. Aaron also and his sons I will consecrate to serve me as priests. I will dwell among the Israelites, and I will be their God, and they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. This is an elaborate ordination, and the whole congregation is there, and it shows them just how serious this is.